Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat Adawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So, this evening's lesson is entitled, I know it's a bit of a funny title, but it couldn't be more true. It says, a man that has control over his rod, tongue, and stomach has solved 99% of his problems. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into it as to why that is. We're going to start off with Romans. This is going to be the book of Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8 and verse 6, and it says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Okay, so to be carnally minded, to mind things of the flesh, that's death. Okay, that's being of this world, you know. Excuse me. But but you know, but they that are after the spirit, but they that are spiritually minded is life. Okay, and to be spiritual, which means you have to keep your mind solely focused in these scriptures upon the doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's been given to GMS, starting with Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Gabar, Elder Apostle Aramlab, and Elder Apostle Rakah, and the men under them, all the way down to the newest brother. Okay? So, verse 7, because the carnal mind is enmity against the power. Enmity. Okay? Enmity meaning to hatred, jealousy. But it's mainly, enmity just mainly means hate, meaning that you don't want to have nothing to do. You're against the Most High. Okay, you're rebellious. Okay. For it is not subject to the law of the Most High. So the carnal mind is not subject to the law of the power. Neither indeed can be. So you gotta let that shit go. You gotta, these things that are of the flesh, you gotta resist your flesh. Because this flesh can get you into a world of trouble. Verse 8, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. So you can't, you can't be, you have to, the spirit is willing. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here, but the flesh, we're in these feeble bodies. They are subject unto sin, and we got to fight it. Okay, we have to overcome and master our flesh, meaning we have to have complete and utter control over it. Mind, body, and spirit, Verse 9, and it says, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so, be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his. Meaning you don't belong, you're not of the Lord's flock. You're not of his sheep, okay, that know and follow him. Okay, we're going to get Philippians. It's going to be Philippians. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. Okay, chapter 4, verse 6, and it says, be careful for nothing. Okay? Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, giving all praise, honor, and glory, and giving thanks to the Lord, and let your requests be made known unto him. So, as long as you keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability while you're in this captivity, and you're staying out of trouble, and you're doing what you can to improve yourself daily, ask the Lord for anything. Let your requests be, made known. They say that, if you ask, you shall receive. Verse, let's see here. I'm going to go up a verse before I go down to verse 7. And this is verse 5. It says, let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand. Your moderation, keeping things within a balance. Okay? Moderation. You have to know not to overdo things. That's, like I said, a time and place for everything. And there's only there's a limit. There's a limit to how much you can do and what you can't do. What I'm saying is, by doing things in moderation, you're keeping things within a balance, and you're not overdoing it to where it's gonna cripple you or cause problems later. Okay, that's part of having self-control. Now going down to verse 7. And the peace of the Most High, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Hamashiach Yahushai. So the peace of Yahweh, his doctrine, his way, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through his Son. Okay? His way is going to keep your mind on what is to come. Okay? Verse 8, or Slaki, no, that's it for that. This is going to be 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. In fact, I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the power, that he may exalt you in due time. So humble yourself. Cast aside your pride. Okay? Let the Lord handle things. Don't fight it or try to become self-willed. Don't go against the grain, as they say. Just put your faith and trust in the Lord, and he's going to handle the rest. Okay? The Lord's not going to steer you wrong. Okay? Verse 7 says, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. So let him handle things. Okay? Regardless of what situation you may be going through, whatever it may be, just pray. Pray, and he'll take care of it. Okay? Verse 8, and it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Okay? So be sober, which means keep your mind sharp, be clear-minded, be aware, be vigilant, be on the watch, because evil is watching around every corner, from above, up, down, left, right. He's watching everything because he has the power, the dew of heaven from above, and the sword. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Okay? There's an old saying that this was back when I was in the military, but my instructor always said, eyes, ears, seeing and hearing. Okay? So you got to watch yourself, because there's always someone that's listening and watching. And it's true. There's always someone that's listening and they're watching. So you have to be mindful of your actions and what you say and how you go about your walk. Okay. Next is going to be 2 Timothy. It's going to be 2 Timothy chapter 2. Verse 22. Let's see here. Let me see. Where am I going to... I'm going to start at verse 20. And it says, "But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor." 21. "If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work." Okay? You must purge yourself. You must, like I said before, to be spiritually minded, you must rebuke these demons, because we're being plagued on a daily basis, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally. You got to purge these demons, okay? Because they're going to tempt you to go off. You got to fight this. This is a fight, okay? So we have to purge ourselves so that way we can be that vessel of honor, made for the master's use, okay? To walk upright, to do what's right, and to know what's right, and to steer clear of, of anything that's contrary to this word. Verse 22, it says, "Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart." Okay, so you gotta flee youthful lusts. Okay, you gotta let you gotta I mean, excuse me. We all have our needs. We all do. But you have to ask yourself, do I need it or do I want it? If you want it, then you don't really need it. It's a desire. That's your flesh speaking. If you need it, if it's a necessity, then okay, but make sure it's for the right reasons. And that's the thing. There's a difference between a want and a need. And that's the obvious, but it's something you gotta really beat into your head. When you going through your walk, you gotta ask yourself, whatever the situation may be with you, is like, do I really need this, or am I just wanting it? Okay, so you have to sometimes take a step back and ask yourself, is this really is this really worth it? Or if it's not, okay. Next is going to be 1 Corinthians. It's going to be chapter 9. Chapter 9, verse 27. And it says, "But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway." Okay, so you have to practice what you preach. You have to not be a hypocrite in not only your own eyes, but ultimately in the eyes of others, but ultimately the eyes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You have to you have to practice what you preach. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Okay? As the scriptures say, James 1 and 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And, I had to, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. I had to learn that lesson the hard way a lot. And, and I'm still trying to get over, I'm still doing the best I can to my ability to get over that hurdle. You got to learn to, stick to your guns. Like I said, just to, when you make a decision, make it final and stick to it. Don't renege on it or, be hypocritical. Okay? This is still going to be the book of 1 Corinthians. It's going to be chapter 6, verse 18. And it says, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. Verse 19, what know ye not, that your body is the temple of the Most High, a temple of the Holy Spirit which is in you, which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own. Okay? So, we don't belong to ourselves. We are not our own. We are not of our own. Okay? We're not self-made. We can't just do what we want. Okay? As the scriptures say, we were bought and paid for with a price. Okay? So we have to do things the Lord's way. Okay? And we have to take care of these bodies because the Lord gave us these meat suits, this flesh, for our spirits to inhabit. So, gotta treat the Lord's creation with respect. Take care of it. Verse 20, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify the Most High in your body and in your spirit, which are the Most High's. All right. Now we're going to go to back to Romans. Romans is going to be chapter 6, verse 14. And it says, for sin shall not have dominion over you. For ye are not under the law, but under grace. This grace period to get right and to do right with what little time we have left. So, being under a grace period, it's the Lord giving you this time to fix yourself. Okay? You can't make excuses. You got to do it. Okay? Verse 15, what then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? The Most High forbid. Okay? Verse 16, know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness? Verse 17, but the Most High be thanked that ye were the servants of sin, but ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you. Verse 18, being then made free from sin, ye became the servants of righteousness. Okay? So under this grace period, we have become the servants of righteousness, which means that we have to carry ourselves to a higher standard because we're representing the Lord. Okay? This is a way of life, and this is something that is required of all of us. This is something that must be done. It is a requirement. Okay? This is this is what we live for, and this is how we're supposed to live by. Okay? So we are to obey Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Regardless. There is no what ifs, buts, hows, or whys. It's just simply obey. Or you disobey and face judgment. Okay. This is going to be this is going to be Proverbs. Oh God. This is going to be the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 23. 21. Proverbs 21 and 23. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. So basically, you know, the best way to stay out of trouble a lot of the times is just to be quiet. Don't say anything. Because when you talk too much, you give away too much information that could be used against you. So that's why it's best to keep your mouth shut and don't let anything slip. Now, we're going to be in the same book, Proverbs. Now we're going to the 18th chapter. It's going to be verse 21. And it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So, death and life are in the power of the tongue. So, that's why you got to be mindful of the things that you say, because they could lead to unnecessary situations, put you in a position of difficulty, or by keeping your mouth shut, you can avoid things. Okay. Now going to the 10th chapter of the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 10 and 19. It says, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. Okay? So, once again, as it says, he that refraineth his lips is wise. So, keeping your mouth shut is a smart thing. Because by being quiet and not saying much, you really don't have nothing to worry about. The majority of my life, me naturally, I'm a quiet person at heart. I don't usually say much. So, that's why it says in the multitude of words there wanteth not sin. So there's a lack of common sense, because, like, again, lack of common sense, knowing right from wrong, knowing what to do and what not to do, and sometimes the right thing to do is just to shut up. Okay? Because there's power behind words, and words have power to them. You can use them to start wars, end friendships, bonds. Words are powerful. They can also get you into trouble, like I said, they could put you in a position of difficulty. Okay, now we're going to Slovakia. Let me see some. Okay, let me see something here, Slovakia. Proverbs 20. Okay, let me get Deuteronomy. It's gonna be chapter 8. verse 1. So Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. Verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. Verse 3. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread alone, but by the word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. So we shall live not by bread alone, but by the word. Okay? This is a true living book. By this word we live. Okay? This physical stuff, food, yeah, sure, it's necessary. I mean, it has its uses, but what's really going to sustain us, because when the famine hits, and there's hardly is an understatement, but if you can't find any food or water or anything, this word is what's going to sustain you, by having faith and the understanding of the scriptures. This is what is going to keep you sustained in those days. Because they say the 3 3s: 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. So you can survive 3 minutes without oxygen. You can survive 3 days without water. And after 3 days, your body starts to shut down. Your liver shuts down, and it is we can barely the most we can fast is probably 2 days, because your body needs hydration, needs water, because the majority of your body is made up of water. As for food, 3 weeks. After that, your body feeds off itself. And it's one of the worst ways to go. All right, getting back to this, we're going to go back to Proverbs. This is going to be Proverbs chapter 23. 23 and 20. Skipped it. And it says, "Be not amongst winebibbers, amongst riotous eaters of flesh." So don't associate yourself with drunkards and people who just constantly like to eat, being pigs, being gluttonous. Verse 21, "For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags." Okay? So so a drunkard and a gluttony shall come to poverty. They shall come to want. They're not going to be in these last days, when things start getting really rough, these drunkards and these gluttonous people, they're not going to be able to enjoy the pleasures and the delicacies. They're going to be in want, in a state of like, I gotta have it, I gotta have this. Okay, and we don't want to end up like that. Let's see, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Drowsiness, being lazy. And people that are lazy, they, like I said, they don't get things done. They don't bear no results. Okay? And then we don't want to be in that slothful spirit, because that's nothing but a demon. So once again, I hope that this was an edifying lesson. Once again, it is entitled, "A Man That Has Control Over His Rod tongue, and stomach has solved 99% of his problems. And it's true. If you can just control those three things, your other head, your mouth, and your stomach, you could save, in this society, you could save yourself some trouble with women, just people in general, save yourself money, fast. Try to eat 1 meal a day and all that, and just fast. Build yourself up in the spirit, because that's the only way that you're going to get through this. Okay? And also, like I said again with the tongue, just learn to be quiet most of the time. I mean, if you're the type of person who's a social butterfly, you like to vibe with people, talk, just be mindful of the words you speak, because, like I said, if you let something slip, at that point, you can't take it back. Me, I just prefer to be quiet and mind my own business. But with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abababal, Shalom, Barakatham.